Have you ever wondered if traveling after 70 is still a good idea? While exploring new places and experiencing different cultures can be exciting, there are serious risks that many older adults don't consider until they're already facing them. As we age, our bodies and minds go through changes that can make traveling more exhausting, unpredictable, and even dangerous. Many people assume they can maintain the same pace they had in their youth, but the reality is that after 70, traveling presents unique challenges that can turn a dream vacation into a stressful or even risky experience. In this video, we're going to reveal 8 important reasons why traveling after 70 can be risky. The last one will surprise you. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear understanding of why traveling at this stage in life requires extra precautions and what you can do to stay safe if you decide to go on a trip. Stay with me until the end, because the last reason on our list is something many older adults never think about, yet it's one of the most common ways people lose money, time, and peace of mind while traveling. Before we dive into the first reason, if you find value in these videos, please subscribe and click the bell to stay updated. Let's get started. Number 1. Increased health risks and medical emergencies. As we cross the threshold of 70 years, our bodies start behaving like a vehicle with many miles on the road. They function well in familiar conditions, but when subjected to extraordinary situations, they can unexpectedly break down. Latent heart diseases can manifest during a long flight. Blood pressure can spike due to travel stress, and mild respiratory issues can worsen in different climates. Imagine this. You're in a picturesque town in Italy or on a remote beach in Thailand, when suddenly you feel a sharp pain in your chest. At home, you would call emergency services and receive medical attention within 15 minutes. But here, thousands of miles away, do you even know how to ask for help? Can you explain your symptoms in a foreign language? Will the local hospital have access to your medical history? Long-haul flights, besides being exhausting, pose particular risks. Sitting for hours in a confined space can lead to deep vein thrombosis, especially if you already have circulation problems. Blood clots that form in the legs during these prolonged trips can travel and cause potentially fatal complications. Another often overlooked danger is the effect of altitude. Mountainous destinations like Cusco in Peru or even high-altitude cities like Mexico City can put your cardiovascular system to the test. The lower oxygen levels force your heart to work harder, which could trigger problems if you have an undiagnosed heart condition. From a Stoic perspective, this isn't about giving up the pleasure of traveling, but rather recognizing our physical vulnerability with honesty. As Marcus Aurelius taught, true wisdom lies in accepting our natural limitations. Prudence is not the enemy of adventure, but its greatest ally. Before embarking on any international trip after 70, visit your doctor for a thorough evaluation, not as a mere formality, but as an honest conversation about the specific risks you might face given your condition. Discuss how your chosen destination might affect your health and get specific recommendations. Prepare a personalized medical kit that includes not only your regular medications in sufficient quantity for the entire trip, plus an extra safety margin, but also a detailed list of your conditions, medications, and allergies translated into the language of the country you will be visiting. It's also essential to research the healthcare system of your destination. Do they have modern hospitals? How do emergency services work? Are there any healthcare agreements with your home country? And perhaps most importantly, purchase travel insurance that specifically covers people your age and includes emergency medical evacuation. Number 2, increased exposure to infections and contaminants. Have you ever wondered why that mild cold your grandchild shook off in 2 days kept you in bed for an entire week? This vulnerability is magnified exponentially when you travel. One of the most underestimated dangers of traveling after 70 is encountering an invisible army of microorganisms against which your natural defenses no longer respond as they once did. Your immune system, that silent guardian that has protected you for decades, begins to show signs of fatigue precisely when you need it most. Think of airports and airplanes as moving microbiology labs. These crowded spaces, where hundreds of people breathe the same recycled air for hours, become perfect incubators for viruses and bacteria. What might be just a minor throat irritation for a 20-year-old could turn into severe bronchitis for you, completely ruining your dream trip. The reality is relentless. Every surface you touch in an international airport has been previously handled by travelers from different continents, each carrying their own unique ecosystem of microorganisms. The security tray where you place your belongings, the handrail on the escalator, even the airport restaurant menu, each is a potential carrier of pathogens that your body may not be equipped to fight. And when you finally arrive at your destination, the microbiological challenges are just beginning. Foodborne illnesses pose a particularly insidious risk. While locals may have developed immunity to certain bacteria present in their water supply, your digestive system could react violently to these new invaders. Something as seemingly harmless as a fresh salad, washed with local water, or a traditional ceviche, could expose you to norovirus, E. coli, or salmonella, any of which, at your age, could lead to serious complications like severe dehydration or a weakened immune system for weeks. Stoic philosophy offers a valuable perspective in this situation. As the ancient philosophers taught, we must clearly distinguish between what we can control and what is beyond our reach. We cannot eliminate the presence of germs in our environment, but we can certainly implement effective preventive strategies. These strategies include wearing a mask in highly crowded spaces such as airports and airplanes, always carrying hand sanitizer and using it frequently, drinking only bottled or properly filtered water, and being extremely selective with raw foods in destinations where hygiene practices may be questionable. Additionally, before traveling, consider consulting your doctor about vaccines specifically recommended for travelers of your age and destination. Number 3. Travel fatigue and recovery challenges. Protecting yourself from germs is essential, but there is a more persistent adversary that no mask can stop: the deep exhaustion that a 70-plus-year-old body experiences when subjected to the stress of travel. What might be a minor inconvenience for your children could become such a severe energy deficit for you that it turns your long-awaited adventure into a test of physical endurance, one that your body may no longer be prepared for. Have you ever returned from a trip feeling more tired than before you left? Now multiply that feeling by 3 after the age of 70. This rarely discussed reality affects thousands of older travelers each year, turning what should be a pleasure into a true physical burden. At this age, the body operates with different energy reserves. While in your youth you could recover with a good night's sleep after an exhausting day of sightseeing, now your body might need weeks to recover from a single transatlantic flight. This prolonged recovery is neither an exaggeration nor a matter of personal weakness. It's a biological reality that many don't realize until they experience it firsthand. What's even more concerning is how this exhaustion acts as a catalyst for other problems. When fatigue accumulates, your physical coordination declines significantly, increasing the chances of falls or injuries. Movements that you would normally perform with ease become clumsy and potentially dangerous. One of the most significant factors is sleep disruption. Sleeping in hotel rooms with unfamiliar mattresses, dealing with noise from other guests or urban traffic, and adjusting to different time zones can be devastating to your sleep cycle. Older adults are particularly sensitive to these changes, experiencing more intense and prolonged jet lag than younger travelers. This sleep deprivation goes far beyond just yawning. Studies show that it deeply affects mental clarity, making it difficult to make sound decisions or remember important directions while traveling. It also seriously compromises your cardiovascular system, potentially increasing the risk of heart problems, especially concerning if you already have pre-existing conditions. Even prolonged physical inactivity during long journeys poses a silent threat. Sitting for hours on a plane or bus causes muscle and joint stiffness, which intensifies with age, especially if you suffer from arthritis or circulation issues. This immobility can lead to painful inflammation, limiting your ability to enjoy planned activities once you arrive at your destination. Stoicism offers a valuable perspective on this reality. As Epictetus taught, happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle: some things are within our control and some are not. Accepting our energy limits doesn't mean giving up on travel. It means planning intelligently while respecting our new needs. If you decide to embark on a trip, consider incorporating full rest days between activities, choosing flights with layovers to stretch your legs, bringing nutritious snacks to maintain stable energy levels, and scheduling strategic naps to help you recharge. Remember, an overloaded itinerary won't just reduce your enjoyment, it could seriously compromise your health. If you're still watching this video and find this information valuable, please comment number 2 below to let me know you're here. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I encourage you to do so and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos. Let's keep learning. Number 4. Increased risk of falls and injuries. Have you ever wondered why a simple stumble on a trip can be much more dangerous at 70 than at 50? What might be a funny anecdote for a younger person could turn into the beginning of a medical ordeal that permanently alters an older traveler's quality of life. The harsh reality is that a fall during your dream vacation can turn your retirement into a long road to recovery. As we age, our bodies undergo fundamental changes that we don't always recognize. Our reflexes slow down, our balance becomes more fragile, and, most concerning, our bones become weaker and more prone to fractures. Think about those picturesque photos of medieval cobblestone streets in Europe, ancient temple staircases in Asia, or soft sandy beaches in the Caribbean. These breathtaking sights hide specific dangers for older travelers. That shiny marble floor in your luxury hotel turns into an ice rink when wet. The staircases without handrails at that historic monument pose a challenge you didn't anticipate when booking the tour. Imagine this real-life scenario. A 78-year-old woman, previously active and healthy, trips while exploring the steep streets of an Italian village. What would have been a simple scrape at home turns into a hip fracture requiring immediate hospitalization. Her dream vacation turns into a medical nightmare involving surgery in a foreign country, weeks of recovery away from home, and possibly permanent mobility issues. The situation becomes even more complicated when considering that many tourist destinations lack accessibility for those with reduced mobility. Activities that seem simple, getting on a tour bus, entering a small local restaurant, or even using the restroom in certain establishments, can become significant challenges. And when an accident happens, medical services may not respond as quickly as you're used to at home. Travel fatigue plays a crucial role in this risk. When our bodies are exhausted from long journeys, irregular meals, or inadequate sleep, our coordination and reaction time deteriorate significantly. A small uneven spot on the pavement that you would normally step over without issue can become the cause of a serious fall when your reflexes are compromised by fatigue. The good news is that there are practical steps you can take. Choosing destinations with good accessibility, avoiding high-risk areas with uneven terrain, and always wearing proper footwear can significantly reduce the likelihood of accidents. Many experienced travelers recommend using walking sticks, even if you don't normally need them at home, as they provide extra stability in unfamiliar environments. Number 5. Unexpected loneliness. Have you ever felt more isolated in the middle of a bustling tourist square than in your own living room? This phenomenon, surprisingly common after the age of 70, can turn a dream trip into an emotionally draining experience. The language barrier creates invisible but impenetrable walls. Imagine being surrounded by lively conversations without understanding a single word, trying to communicate persistent pain to a pharmacist who only responds with confused gestures. This inability to express basic needs generates a vulnerability that many older travelers do not anticipate until they experience it firsthand. What few people mention is how this linguistic isolation directly affects our health. Recent research has revealed that these episodes of social disconnection, even if temporary, can trigger surprisingly harmful biochemical effects in our bodies. The brain of an older person can experience accelerated cognitive decline when subjected to intense periods of isolation, such as those that occur during international travel. Cultural differences add another layer of complexity. Gestures that convey friendliness in Spain may be offensive in other contexts. Unwritten social norms regarding personal space eye contact, or even punctuality vary greatly between cultures. For older travelers, these nuances can create uncomfortable situations that reinforce the feeling of being a stranger, an outsider in a foreign land. Particularly vulnerable are those who travel after losing their life partner. What should be a rejuvenating experience can turn into a painful reminder of absence. That couple who dreamed of visiting Venice together, when one finally makes the trip alone, may find that every gondola, every square, and every sunset evokes shared memories that intensify the feeling of loss rather than alleviate it. How can we mitigate this emotional risk? Travel groups specifically designed for older adults offer not only physical security, but also a shield against loneliness. Sharing experiences with people of a similar age instantly creates common ground that facilitates genuine human connections. Many discover that these friendships formed during travel last long after returning home. Learning a few basic phrases in the local language can also make a significant difference. It is not about mastering complex grammar, but about demonstrating respect and interest in the local culture. A simple thank you or good morning in the native language can open surprising doors and generate smiles of appreciation that transcend any linguistic barrier. Technology can also be our ally against isolation. Keeping regular video calls with loved ones at home provides an invaluable emotional anchor. Seeing familiar faces and sharing daily experiences creates a bridge that connects distant worlds, reminding us that even if we are physically far away, we remain emotionally connected to our support network. Number 6. Circadian rhythm disruptions and sleep problems. Did you know that after the age of 70, our bodies lose up to 80% of their ability to adjust to new time zones? This phenomenon explains why many older travelers spend their dream vacations literally wide awake at 3 in the morning. Our circadian rhythm, the internal biological clock that regulates sleep-wake cycles, becomes notably more rigid with age. When a 25-year-old crosses 5 time zones, their body can fully adjust in 2 to 3 days. After 70, that same adjustment may take more than 2 weeks, and sometimes it never fully happens during the trip. What many older travelers don't anticipate is that this disruption goes far beyond a few nights of sleeplessness. The disturbance of the circadian rhythm triggers a cascade of side effects: spatial disorientation, temporary cognitive decline, drastic mood swings, and a significant decrease in decision-making abilities. Imagine trying to decipher a map or negotiate a taxi fare when your brain is operating at half capacity. Melatonin, the crucial hormone that regulates our sleep, is produced in significantly lower amounts after 70. When combined with the stress of travel, the bright lights of unfamiliar hotels, and irregular meal times, we create the perfect storm for sleep disruption. A recent study by the University of California revealed that older adults experience up to 40% more wakefulness during the first few nights in a new destination compared to younger adults. Particularly alarming is the cascade effect that occurs in the aging brain when faced with prolonged sleep deprivation. After just 72 hours of insufficient sleep, many older travelers begin to experience symptoms that are indistinguishable from mild dementia episodes: confusion, irritability, inability to follow conversations, and even disorientation regarding their location. As Marcus Aurelius noted, the mind adapts and turns any obstacle into its own advantage. However, this Stoic principle becomes more challenging when our brain is fighting against the deep fatigue caused by jet lag. Sleep deprivation not only impacts our enjoyment of the trip, it compromises our safety and independence, turning routine activities like crossing streets or remembering the location of our hotel into significant challenges. The solution is not to avoid travel, but to recognize these biological limitations and adapt our plans accordingly. Try to schedule trips that cross fewer time zones, or consider destinations located in time zones similar to your own. If you must travel far, plan for gradual recovery, adding extra days before starting demanding activities. And remember that sometimes true Stoic wisdom lies in accepting that our bodies have rhythms that not even the strongest will can alter. Number 7. Technological disconnection. The reality is unsettling. While we celebrate how technology brings us closer, many older travelers face a world where simple tasks like paying for coffee or hailing a taxi have turned into complex digital challenges that can compromise their security and independence. The digital transformation has reached unexpected corners of global tourism. Imagine arriving at your hotel after an exhausting flight only to discover that the front desk has been replaced by tablets where you must check in without human assistance. Or worse, trying to take the subway in Tokyo, where ticket machines require navigating menus in Japanese and using rechargeable cards that can only be obtained through apps. Digital obstacles lurk at every turn in modern travel. Restaurants have completely eliminated physical menus in favor of QR codes printed on tiny stickers on tables. Public transport systems require specific apps for each city. Even finding a public restroom can turn into an odyssey when access is granted only by scanning a code with your phone. For those who grew up in the pre-digital era, these barriers are particularly challenging. Vision problems make reading on small screens frustrating. Hands affected by arthritis may struggle with the precise movements required by touchscreens. And the anxiety of facing new technology in a stressful environment such as a crowded airport can lead to confusion and rushed decisions. What is truly concerning is when this digital gap becomes a safety issue. In many European cities, calling an ambulance requires using specific apps. Reporting a theft may involve filling out online forms. Even receiving emergency alerts, such as natural disaster warnings or safety notifications, now depends on smartphone notifications. Navigation presents another major challenge. While younger travelers rely entirely on Google Maps, older adults may feel overwhelmed by the amount of information displayed on the screen. Small icons, constantly changing routes, and tiny street names combine to create a confusing experience that, instead of helping, can lead to greater disorientation. Travel finances have also changed dramatically. In destinations like Sweden or China, cash has practically disappeared. Small businesses, taxis, and even street vendors now only accept digital payments. Without the ability to use these platforms, older travelers might find themselves unable to buy food or pay for essential services. The philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The mind adapts and turns any obstacle into its own advantage." This Stoic perspective reminds us that while we cannot change the digitalization of the world, we can prepare ourselves to navigate these challenges with intelligence and foresight. Preparation is key. Before traveling, familiarize yourself with the essential apps you'll need at your destination: maps, transport, translation, and payment platforms. Practice using them at home, where stress levels are lower. Consider carrying a device with a large screen like a tablet to make reading and navigation easier. Download offline maps and take screenshots of important information. It's also crucial to develop an analog plan B for every digital necessity. Carry printed maps, write down key addresses and phone numbers on paper, and keep enough cash for emergencies, even in supposedly cashless destinations. Travel with a portable charger to avoid running out of battery at critical moments. Number 8. Financial risks and travel insurance. What many older travelers discover too late is that their regular health insurance, the one that has covered them faithfully for decades, simply disappears when they cross international borders. This silent lack of protection is perhaps one of the most underestimated dangers for those traveling after 70. Imagine strolling through the streets of Rome when sudden chest pain forces you to visit a hospital. Without the right insurance, that moment could turn into a financial catastrophe, with bills reaching tens of thousands of euros. And this is not an exaggeration. These cases happen daily to unprepared travelers. The illusion of security is dangerously common. Many seniors travel confidently, believing their savings or reliable health insurance will be enough, without realizing that most standard policies simply do not work outside their home country. This coverage gap can turn even a simple treatment into a financially devastating expense. And let's not just talk about hospitalization. Have you ever considered the cost of a medical evacuation from a remote location? These operations can reach astronomical figures, especially when helicopters or air ambulances are involved. Without travel insurance that specifically covers these services, those costs would come directly out of your pocket, or from the wealth you've spent a lifetime building. Financial vulnerability while traveling isn't limited to medical emergencies. Last-minute cancellations represent another major risk. Most airlines, hotels, and cruise lines have strict policies that don't allow refunds for sudden cancellations. For an older traveler who has invested thousands in a dream vacation but has to cancel due to an unexpected health issue, this could mean losing the entire investment. Another concerning aspect is the rise of scams targeting older travelers. Scammers recognize senior tourists as potentially vulnerable targets, especially those who seem unfamiliar with their surroundings. From fake taxi services, charging exorbitant fares, to elaborate schemes designed to steal credit card information, these traps can drain bank accounts at alarming speeds. The Stoic perspective teaches us to anticipate these scenarios. As Marcus Aurelius said, "It is not the thing itself that disturbs us, but our interpretation of it." In this case, it's not travel that poses a financial risk, but rather our lack of foresight and proper preparation. So, what can we do? Prevention is always the most effective strategy. Carefully verify your current health insurance's international coverage, and if it's insufficient, purchase a travel insurance plan specifically for seniors that includes medical emergencies, evacuations, and illness-related cancellations. These specialized policies may seem like an extra expense, but they are just a fraction of the cost you could face in an emergency without protection. We've explored the 8 reasons why traveling after 70 can present serious risks, from unexpected health emergencies to financial and physical complications. These challenges can turn what was initially envisioned as an opportunity to relax and enjoy life into a stressful and even dangerous experience. However, it is important to remember that risks should not make us give up on the idea of traveling altogether, but rather rethink how we approach it. Instead of seeing these risks as an insurmountable barrier, we should view them as an invitation to plan more carefully and strategically. Traveling, even after 70, can be incredibly enriching and rewarding if the proper precautions are taken. So why continue to travel? Here are some reasons why the benefits of traveling can outweigh the difficulties, as long as we do so with awareness and preparation. Firstly, traveling expands our horizons and connects us with new cultures, which is essential for keeping our minds active. When we visit new places, we not only learn about the world, but also about ourselves. The diversity of cultures, traditions, and customs can revitalize our perspective and keep our hearts and minds evolving, even as time makes us wiser. Secondly, traveling is an excellent way to keep ourselves active, both physically and mentally. We know that maintaining a physical routine is crucial for our health as we age. Traveling forces us to walk, explore, solve logistical problems, and adapt to new situations. All of this stimulates both the body and mind, which not only improves our overall health, but also helps us feel more alive, more connected to our environment, and more motivated to enjoy each day. Moreover, traveling can have a very positive impact on our emotional well-being. Daily routines can become heavy and monotonous, but simply being in a new place surrounded by natural beauty or unique architecture can awaken a sense of gratitude and happiness. This not only improves our mood, but can also reduce stress and anxiety levels. Every trip becomes an opportunity to release tension, enjoy the present moment, and reconnect with our deepest essence. Another important reason is that travel allows us to strengthen our social and family bonds. Whether you travel alone or with others, the memories shared with family and friends during a trip are invaluable. These moments of connection in new places create a foundation of happy memories that can enrich our relationships. Additionally, meeting new people and sharing experiences with them can add a special dimension to our lives, expanding our social circle and improving our quality of life. Finally, traveling gives us the opportunity to relive memories and create new special moments. As we age, memories become an important part of our identity. Returning to places we've visited in the past or discovering new destinations allows us to add new layers to those memories, filling our lives with special moments that will last forever. In summary, while the risks of traveling after 70 are real and should be considered, the benefits are equally powerful. Travel can keep us active, connect us with new perspectives, and provide moments of happiness and fulfillment. The key is to plan consciously, make decisions that adapt to our current needs, and remember that traveling is not just about the distance traveled, but the experiences lived. So if you're considering traveling after 70, I encourage you to do so with the proper preparation. Travel can still be one of the greatest sources of joy and personal growth, and with the necessary care, life's adventures can remain as exciting as ever. If you've made it this far, write "I'm ready for the journey" in the comments to let me know who the true champions are. And if you found this useful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. And don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs it. Now, click on the next video to keep learning. See you there.